Good morning, everyone. Again, welcome to a new webinar organized by the thematic partnership is 3P on traceability and big data in the agri-food value chain. My name is María, and I'm technical coordinator of this partnership, coordinated by the Regional Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries and Sustainable Development of the Spanish region of Andalusia. Today, we are going to speak about public procurement on innovative solution. This is a recent tool launched by the European Commission to enable the public sector to modernize public services with better value for money solutions and provide growth opportunities for companies. Our objective today is to discover several initiatives of public procurement that Andalusia has in place to discover the latest emerging technologies and the most innovative solutions. So let's now move on to the agenda. And my colleague, María Pérez, will introduce the general concepts of innovation procurement and the situation in the Regional Ministry of Agriculture. And after her presentation, we will go further in three projects. The first one is Claudia, about innovative big spatial data infrastructure for regional environmental management by Arturo Fernández Palacios. And secondly, drones will come with Encarnación Martínez, which will present the project UAP4 Simplify about innovation public procurement for using unmanned air vehicles to simplify actions on the ground. And the last, finally, we have had a last time change in the agenda, and Pilar Garrido will not be here with us presenting the project about development of innovative analytical methodologies. But no problem, no worries, because Pilar has recorded her presentation. And it's all. And remember, you can use the chat for questions at any time. They will be answered in the question and answer session. And now it's time to give the floor to María. María, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mar. Good morning. Thank you, Matt, for your introduction. First of all, I would like to thank you for coming here today. As mentioned above, I am María Pérez, Technical Advisor at the Regional Ministry for Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries and Sustainable Development. Due to the importance this new contractual model is taken, a technical office of public procurement of innovation has been created within this regional ministry. I'm going to briefly expose some general concepts of public procurement of innovation and the general situation in the regional ministry. After that, I will give the floor to my colleagues who will present their projects, which will surely be very interesting for you. From now on, I will refer to the public procurement of innovation, but its acronym PPI. The PPI began because a public entity has a challenge with impact on public service and therefore on the well-being and interest for citizens. It consists on finding the solution to challenge, allowing suppliers to develop innovative solutions. The PPI, more than a police, is a novel instrument for acquisition of technologically advanced products and services, which represent a paradigm shift with respect to traditional contracting process. In this slide, In this slide, you can see in a comparative way the traditional public procurement and the innovation public procurement. As you can see, in traditional PV procurement, when faced with a problem, the administration analyzes the existing solution in the market from which the contracting phase defined and the tender is launched. Thus, the administration is the only actor at all times. Only at the end do the companies appear. On the other hand, in the PPI, when faced with a problem for which no solution are known in the market, a technical surveillance is carried out to confirm this supposition. If it is indeed determined that the solution doesn't exist in the market and innovation is necessary, and consultation is carried out with the market, which will provide different solutions. Thus, the great difference. La está pasando María José. You can. Okay, thank you. The great difference between traditional procurement and innovative procurement is that products or services acquired are not developed in the market yet, and that the administration and the company become partners. The administration has to become a smart buyer. It's about ordering tomorrow's technology instead of buying yesterday's. Companies also have to change, as they have to understand that they have a technological partner in the administration, and they have to share knowledge. If companies don't share their ideas and knowledge, the PPI process is not going to be fruitful. Next, please. Thank you. In this slide, we just show 5 objectives that we consider strategies for the PPI. Innovation in public service, development in innovative local environment, attraction of investment and companies, both large and small and medium-sized enterprise, as well as startups, change in the culture of the public sector, acquisition of goods and services. In short, it seeks to improve the provision of public service, to promote public-private collaboration, and to move toward an innovative administration. Yeah, next. Next slide. Without going into much detail, before explaining the situation of PPI in the regional ministry, we would like to comment that there are several types of PPI, depending on the degree of the development of the solution to a specific need in the market. Sometimes, challenges can be addressed with innovative solutions that are more on the market and don't need new research and development. It is then when public procurement of innovative technology can be used effectively. In other cases, there are no solutions close to the market yet, and new research and development is needed. In this case, pre-commercial procurement is used. Next. Currently, in the ministry, there are 5 PPI projects in the progress out the 17 that exist in the whole Junta Andalusia. We see that it occupies the first position in budget and also in the number of projects. The advanced position of the department is also due to progress of the project. Being the regional ministry, together with the regional ministry of health, the ones that are paving the way with the different red tape. Next. Thank you. Given the importance PPI is acquiring, the regional ministry has created a technical office as a coordination structure for the promotion and technical support. It's a multidisciplinary approach in which the different management center and entities attached to the department participate both in the technical and legal and contracting field. Among the main tasks of the office, they are general coordination, training, awareness, information and advice, identification of priorities, promotion and advice for development of proposals for new projects, dissemination of results. Currently, an awarding of assistance granted to this technical office is being processed, which we consider important for beginning operations of this office, the projects that are more advanced. Next. In this slide, you can see the 5 projects that regional ministry currently have. The first 2 projects, which were selected in a first call for European Regional Development Fund for PPI in Andalusia, are the most advanced, and both currently about to be tendered. The other 3 projects were selected in a second call for the same fund. This year, the preliminary market consultation is planned, which is of great importance to define the tender documents. Both the assistance to the technical office and the experience that is acquired with the first 2 projects are an excellent learning platform for the following approved projects, and thus we hope will come in the future. 3 of the 5 projects considered of most interesting for the partnership we will present now. Next, we would like to tell you that at the beginning of our journey, we applied for free assistance for the European Assistance for Innovation Procurement. It is an initiative financed by the European Commission for providing local assistance to people procure for starting who want to assist new innovation procurement, promoting good practice and reinforcing the evidence base of complex innovation procurement. It was of great help to us for the project of analytical methodologies in the agri-food field. And the drone project is currently receiving this assistance. Here you have the link to the last call, which is open right now. Thank you so much for your attention. This is from my part. Without further delay, I give the floor to Arturo Fernández Palacio, who will present the Claudia project.
Thank you, Maria. And now I'm going to give the role of presenter to Arturo. So he will start to share his screen. Okay, thanks, Arturo. You can start. I think your microphone is mute.
Now the screen is properly checked. It's all right?
Yes, perfect.
All right.
Thanks.
Well, thank you very much, Maria, and the rest of colleagues from the General Secretariat of Agriculture for the kind invitation to this webinar. I work in the same regional government, but in the branch or in the area of environmental management. But we work closely in this office. She has mentioned about the implementation of PPI in our organization, and we get on very well working together. Thank you. Well, the purpose of my presentation is to give you a short overview of Claudia project, one of these of the project mentioned by Maria. Claudia is a short name for cloud computing, and an acronym is IA, which in Spanish means environmental information. So, you know, we are dealing with a project with ICT to support environmental management. It's the area of this project. As she has mentioned, it's one of the pilot projects financed by the regional ministry in which innovation is settled, and it's a pilot project because it's the one together with the other one which is presented at last in this webinar, which are opening the doors or paving the path, the way, as she has mentioned, for the rest and the future. I mean, that is important because I want to remark, you don't have to panic when you see the slowliness of our advance in the development of this project, because we are really walking through a territory, bureaucratic territory with no path, with no tracks, and then we are opening in a very wild environment. We are opening the bureaucratic sentiers and overcoming bureaucratic barriers, which is very, very important.
Arturo, sorry, you have again your micro mute.
So I start, or what do I do?
Yes,
I
I think it's better you can start with this slide.
All right, I start with this slide. Well, I was saying that Claudia, as any PPI project, is focused on finding a solution to a need that has no response in the normal or ordinary market. So we have to make innovation or research and development to find and to help private sector and work together with the private sector to find this solution. Well, what is behind the launch of Claudia? The starting point is that it's very simple and very schematic. I mean, nearly all, I would say all around the world, all the organizations dealing with environmental management produce a great deal of information, mainly spatial or geographical information. They collect and they produce, they develop very complex information systems. They are called system, infrastructure, or whatever, but the networks, but they produce this kind of complex projects. And of course, they provide a lot of tools to download, to browse, or even to analyze this information for the people working in their organization. But the fact is that usually, and I would say it's a very common problem, information is underutilized. I mean, the real impact of the great amount of information we have in our system is very little. And what is the reason? What is the bottleneck? The bottleneck is that usually the manager, the final user, which can be in a natural park, in a province, or in a specific service, planning watersheds, in the end, they are not expert in using this tool, because you have to be the only one a solution that could be an indicator, could be the statistical, could be a web map or whatever. But this solution comes after a very complex and a very deep analysis, integrated very different information, which is out of their range of knowledge. I mean, you need an expert really to provide this type of solution, and there are very few experts or expertise in the use of this. What is the final balance? In the end, information have a great impact in great projects where we can use our own expert, or we can contract a consultants company that have the ability to use this tool. Or in the end, for the daily management needs, we don't have, or we cannot give solution from our information systems. That could be the great objective and aim of Claudia. I mean, really a solution that increase the real impact of all the information we have in our environmental system. Well, this is one of the needs, no, to fill this gap of lack of knowledge, or reduce the complexity of the use of this information. But this is worsen. I mean, this problem worsen if we take into account the current technological context. I mean, we are living in this information society, and we have seen that the amount of information available is increasing exponentially. I mean, we see there are huge number of sensors measuring thousands of environmental parameters that are coming every 5 minutes, every second. We have social network in which problems like mobility or global change or risk assessment or whatever, or how many people visit a natural park, and we have to use this type of data. UAVs, satellite imagery. I mean, the information available is enormous, and we don't have tools to process all this information. It is true that in this new technological context, there are tools to do that. I mean, it's what we call, and I will refer along my presentation, new high-performance information technologies. Big data, cloud computing, artificial intelligence are tools that tackle precisely this huge amount of heterogeneous data and that can process in automatic way. But the fact is, and this is one of the problems to be faced by Claudia, is that most of our information system, public information systems, are not adapted to this new context. Why? First, because usually public organizations are very reluctant to innovations. I mean, it's complex, it's costly, and of course you need a lot of expertise. But particularly in complex information systems based in GIS technology, there is an important barrier, technological barrier, and it's the one we see here in this example. The most important data sets we use normally in public organization are vectorial format. I mean, points, lines, and polygons, and they have what we call topology. I mean, they have directions, they have connections, they have to know what is on the left, on the right. This is a river shed, and you have to know if the water goes upstream or downstream. This topology, which is essential for the crucial information we have in an information system, the problem is that it doesn't accommodate at all with these new technologies, cloud computing or big data. Why? Because the key technology to process huge amount of data is what is called parallel computing. That means to cut huge database into pieces and to send the information, the algorithm to many different sources in the cloud or on terrain servers. But you send them, they are processed separately, and then you reassemble all this information. This is not compatible with topology. I mean, you lose the topology in this process. So there is an important technical inconvenience and barrier for the implementation of information system in this new context. What are the challenges when we try to find solutions to these main problems, main needs? So the first challenge that we sent is we have to make the integration of information more simple and less complex. So we decide that we have to find a new data model, a new data structure that avoid the complexity of integration. Now we have to integrate points, polygons, photography, different scale, topology, whatever. So we have to avoid this complexity, and that is suitable. I mean, that accommodates perfectly to this new technological context, to parallel computing. And we have found that there is a recent data model, data structure, which is called Digital Global Grid Systems. Is now a standard of inspired directive from since 2017, and it's also a standard for the great organization of standardization, which is the OGC. And in very simple words, that means that we divide the whole globes into different layers where we have different cell structure that are geometric forms. Could be polygons, could be hexagons, could be square cells or rectangular, triangular. But they have a hierarchical structure from meters to 100 or kilometers. You know? And this data structure, the challenge is really to transform our different database in polygons, in all the formats to translate and to assign to each cells the information we have in our current information system. That is the real challenge. This is the system they have used. I mean, they are experienced in methodological. I mean, when you see the methodological forecast, they are using at global level hundreds of satellites of imagery, thousands of network information, soil maps, etc. And in the end, they have to integrate this in very few minutes or hours, to integrate in 5 or 10 minutes daily. And they use precisely this technology, but it hasn't been used at regional or local level as the framework for an environmental system. Well, this is the challenge we send to the private sector. But there is a second challenge. Once we have solved, I mean, we have put all of our information in this new structure, we have solved many problems. I mean, we are compatible with parallel computing. There is no problem for integrated, because there are no topological problems. All the geometric dimension of the data is solved, because all data are just the same. And the integration, the interrelation between the data are extremely simple. And even with this new structure, artificial intelligence or machine learning is much more easier, because it's the best suited data structure to be analyzed by this type of technology. So we have prepared the data. What is the second challenge? We have to develop a prototype of infrastructure using this new technology, and this has to be adapted to the specific needs of a public organization. That means that we want to develop a prototype of infrastructure using the information we have seen before, this new structure, but has to be flexible, has to be scalable, has to have a high parallel computing capacity, and, for example, has to solve problems like when we say scalable. That means that if we are using or analyzing very little amount of data, we can do it local in our own equipments or in the servers of the organization. But if they are very big, we have to have the chance to send them to the cloud, private or hybrid cloud, and to make the analysis up there. No? For that, you have, especially in organization, you have to develop management models to optimize the cost, to optimize the time, and to make the decisions for the different kinds of users. But secondly, this will have what is called in computing engineering an architecture based on microservice. I think that makes it very flexible, because it's put into pieces, and you only have to change a small part if you want to develop or you want to adapt. You don't have to change big part of the system, but only a small portion. But what is more important? We have to solve the problem of the non-expert users. Well, using this microservice architecture, an architecture based on microservice, the final user, he will receive a service in which equipment, the local equipment, we will be able to deploy not only the data but also the solutions in it. in the end, the user only will need to say, to choose the information he needs for any specific analysis, the algorithm or the relationships or the geoprocessing process to be applied to this data. This data will not have problem of topology. They will be just the same meteorological data than property data than vegetation data. They are just the same. And in the end, you will have to choose the type of output: a browser, a map browser, statistics, or statistical graph, or whatever. And he will build a customized client, let's say, for the analysis and for the exploitation of this information in an easy way. So we will be able to multiply the number of users of this. Well, these are the ideas. I'm sorry, I'm finishing in 2 minutes. We sent them to the market consultation that was between April and December of 2019. There were more than 14 proposals coming from 19 different entities, and we have interviews, we have inquiries, we have workshops, we have conference, and in the end, what we achieved is what is called the market consultation conclusion report. This is very important because in the procurement procedure, public procurement procedure, this is out of the Public Procurement Act in Spain, is where you really justify and demonstrate that the solution is not on the market. You need research and development. You also justify the modality, the type of PPI to be implemented, in our case for pre-commercial procurement, because what you have to buy is really research and development services. You have to share the cost and the risk with the contractor, which is also very complicated from a public and for a public organization, in which usually Procurement Act is you buy and all the risk is for the contractor. And of course, you demonstrate that what you are producing is not just a prototype for your interest, but the private sector is interested in selling and producing a market product to have a future for future development and for making money. I mean, in the end, PPI is an instrument to modernize administration, but also to encourage and to foster innovation in the private sector.
Thank you, Arturo.
Yeah. Well,
you have been... Just sorry? 1 minute, please. Your time is over.
Well, we have the structure. The important thing is that we have three constructors. It's more complicated than normal procedures, and also to say that what is our current situation. We have a call for tender in weeks or probably in days. I think probably next week we will launch to the market the tender, and also it will be in parallel a follow-up contract, not only to help us to assess what we pay for, that is research and development, but also for this validation process, because the last 6 months will be devoted for our organization, the size of the Regional Ministry of Agriculture and Environment of Andalusia. It is the size of Austria, that this infrastructure, this prototype of infrastructure works properly, and to find areas of improvement. Well, thank you very much for your attention, and sorry for the time I have spent. Sorry.
Thank you, Arturo. And now we move to the Encarni's presentation. Encarni, I give you the role of presenter. Okay, I think you can start to share your screen. Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect. Thanks.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. My name is Encarnación Martínez, Technical Advisor in the Department of International Relations of the Agency of Agriculture and Fisheries Development of Andalusia, AGAPA. It's a pleasure for me to be with you today. Thank you very much for the invitation. My talk is about the public procurement of innovation for using MA airway costs to simplify action on the ground. Acronym WAG for Simplify, in which AGAPA is the contracting authority. In this 10-minute presentation, I will focus on three things. Number one, why we need an innovative solution. Number two, what our needs are and what we expect. And number three, how you can participate. Why do we need an innovative solution? Fieldwork has a high cost and is time-consuming. AGAPA has among its competencies different activities that require fieldwork. For example, creation and maintenance of inventories, inspections, control, damage assessment, etc. This work has a high cost due to the large amount of resources involved, both human and materials, and also it lacks immediacy due to the deployment of the means needed, the time of execution of the task, and the need to process and integrate the information collected on the ground into the tools that the public administration uses for its management. Sorry. The innovative solution could use UAV technology to improve administration and capabilities for monitoring agriculture areas, fishing activities, and rural infrastructures. A tool with great potential that could allow obtaining data with a higher spatial resolution. And this is especially important in applications where the resolution of the new satellites with open access information are not sufficient. In addition, drones will also enable to precisely control the moment when the data is collected and to automate operations so that the associated costs are reduced. However, the most common UAV systems available on the market do not meet the necessary requirement for this type of monitoring action. The objective is to have UAV system with improved capabilities compared to the System 1, a more efficient mechanical configuration, more versatility, a greater degree of automation and autonomy, and of easy implementation by end users. This public procurement of innovation should guarantee also that these technologies work within the public administration procedures and management application with the consequent development of software, application, and algorithm if needed. What are our needs and what do we expect? 5 needs have been identified by end users in the public administration. The first need is about improving the management of rural infrastructures, damage assessment, and emergency works. The field activities that should be simplified are the creation and maintenance of rural road inventories, also inventories of irrigated areas, and the rapid assessment of the damage produced in emergency situations in rural areas and on farms in order to give a quick response to people affected. The second need focuses on improving agriculture inspection and control. Common agriculture policy subsidies, also known as CAP aid, require to carry out a strict control to guarantee the eligibility of the applications. Currently, a high percentage of the CAP aid controls are carried out by remote sensing techniques, which is saving in time and in money. However, there are some controls that still require field visit to verify the use and compliance with legal requirements and good environmental practices. In these cases, it is necessary to visit the specific sites to take photographs and collect data. Some examples are the environmental aid control, the cross-compliance aid control, and the restructuring of the vineyard support. The third need aims to improve fisheries inspection and control. Fisheries inspection task against illegal fishing at sea has a high cost of resources. The control is carried out by patrol boats that, when an illegal fishing is detected, could not arrive on time to the place where it is happening. It is clear that if an air control system were in place, efforts to achieve this objective would be much more effective, especially in areas with difficult access. This system would allow to detect violations and obtain images of poaching activities as a proof to be used in the disciplinary procedures. The fourth need refers to the update of the Geographical Information System for Agricultural Parcels, the Spanish acronym SIGPAC. The SIGPAC is the key instrument of the management and control of common agricultural policy subsidies, and there is a need to maintain and improve the quality of the information contained in SIGPAC through methods that reduce or eliminate the need to visit the field. And finally, the fifth one is a cross-cutting need that focuses on the integration and exploitation of the data by the administration and end users. The big amount of information collected by drones should be integrated and exploited, taking into account the management system and the requirement of the administration. That means that the solution should be capable to manage big data, integrate information from different sources, and automate their exploitation under the administration system. For example, an important issue is that data and product specifications should be certified and validated to be used in administrative acts. And what we expect? The innovative solution should improve the quality of public services, also reduce time for decision making, optimize the resources available by reducing associated costs, reduce the carbon footprint by reducing the use of vehicles, and improve safety conditions at works. How you can participate? If you have or you can develop an innovative solution for these needs, you can participate in the open market consultation that AGAPA will launch in 2021. This public procurement of innovation has a roadmap with two phases. First of all, an initial phase, a pretender phase, during 2021, in which AGAPA is carrying out some preparatory activities. For example, workshops for the end user needs assessment, several studies on the state of art of drone technology, the business case, and the open market consultation. If the solution does not exist in the market, it would be a second phase that will be running from 2022 and will cover the tendering, the contract execution, and the monitoring and evaluation of the innovative solution. The project has a budget around 2 million euros, a 3 years of timeline. And to conclude my presentation, again, I would like to invite all of you to participate in the open market consultation of this project that will be launched in the next months. Also, if you want to be invited to the open market consultation, just send us an email to us and you will be in our mailing list. Here you have also the web of the project. Here you can consult some more information about the roadmap of the project. And from me, it's all. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Encarni, for your presentation. And now, as Mar previously said, it's time for the Pilar Garrido Flores presentation, but she cannot attend, but she recorded her presentation, so we are going to play now. So I'm going to try. Sorry, because it's the first time that we do that. So please let me know if it works properly in the chat.
Hello, I'm Pilar Garrido Flores. I'm chemical advisor in the Department of Agrifood Control and Production of Andalusia and Agrifood. I should like to combine my congratulations to partnership on traceability verification in the Agrifood value chain, and thank you for coming possible to be this speech about the project development of innovative technology of the agriculture sector, incorporating information and communication technology. Well, the agrifood control and inspection official is based in the techniques of the regulation that regulate the quality of the production. Many of the non-compliances are detected from the political result of tables 7, which are carried out in the accredited agrifood laboratories of the Andalusian government, managed in Andalusia by Agency for Agriculture. The primary goal of this project is to reduce the time of the resources of the agrifood that relies for consumer inspection design. The objective is get fast methodologies that allow us to obtain values to guarantee that the product completes the requirements established by the regulation, so that only those samples that Friday do not meet these parameters have to be analyzed in that. To carry out these control inspections, public financial resources are required, personnel and materials. Therefore, our goal is to labor process at less time, with less cost, and always maintaining the quality and safety of the public service. On the other hand, the reduced time for the resources, improving the effectiveness of security traceability, early warning and risk management system, the efficiency of resources, the quality and safety of food, the process of the agriculture chain, including the control of the control system, the sector, strengthen the control system, and improve the event for all, make the official control more efficient and effective. And therefore, the public service given to the CPTs actively, value the chain and safety of the production and retail products. It is the final objective of our project. Also, as we said, the most immediate objective could be the one used to speed up the laboratory work, and very importantly, the possibility of the use in the company self-control system that citing the product of the group. Methodology analysis of control and inspection official must fulfill current official regulation. But regulation could be changed with the Andalusian to opportunity effective. This will be the last objective of the project. Out of the scope of work of agrifood control and inspection, which is agri livestock and food quality of agricultural products of the Andalusia, more than 55 official plans are of inspection need the source of the laboratories to be done. When determining which sector to act on, we have found main features. The means of improvement current growth index, the economic, agronomic, and sociology are important, and in our case, about the possible implication in human health, and analysis of the objective solution cost benefits. After analyzing that answer, this question analyze the results of the preliminary consultation to the market and taking into account the available budget, we decide that the lines need to agree to the ability and possibility to success were identification of negative results in the removal work of official food inspection with characterization of oil, detection of the goals models, and improvement of the analysis development to Andalusian validation. Actually, the text of the first tender for the project is almost closed and will be published shortly. With the requirement that not needed by the entities interested participating in the 1 or 2. The global budget is 1,930,000 euros, and next I want to make summary of the olive oil is especially important. Andalusia because it's one of the main agrifood production of Andalusia. Actually, the official concept to the quality of olive oil include the determination about the classification of olive oil incidentally. It's the same that the cataloging made by the respective company. This analysis must be doing with chemical and sensory methods in accordance with current regulation, which establishes the sample to every 10,000 tons, while for Andalusia, with a million tons of oil produced per second approximately, we need to analyze 1,000 samples with 10 technical determination, each of them to ensure quality for 42 different parameters. If we take into account that all the samples are taken only 10% of this positive, more or less, taking into account the statistics of the last year, or what we say, don't coincide with the specification, we can say that 19 of the classification of the expected oil is correct, and therefore they do not have to go to the materials. The technology demand in this line of the project is having a technology that differentiates between categories of oil and the theory, allow the best possible calculations, versus less than 15 minutes sample, and low weight the tool equipment that only classified by 1%. The analysis of the pattern and the result of the preliminary consultation, we can say that the project is a commercial procurement. Regarding the period exchange project, we see it's necessary to improve the analysis process. First, because the objective of this program is to guarantee the health of consumers because high levels of injury and death, for which is the contrary that the productions that go on the market don't contain levels of toxins that may affect them. Second, the perceivable nature of the products, which shows the analysis time and the complexity of the sample testing and handling procedure. In Andalusia, there are 56 areas of legal products, and on which must be controlled and tempered are taking the high periodicity. In high level of biotoxin in an area, it will be closed, and then the scientists cannot exercise the economic activity. Therefore, the speed of the analysis is fundamental also for the economy of the city. In this case, percent of samples that contain the current official regulation is the same that in the case of olive oil. Then the technology in this line of the project is have a technology allow differentiation between groups of marine aflatoxin that has all others legislate, or table technology that allow the reduction and low weight for table equipment. The project will necessary to characterize olive oil and the aflatoxin reverse volumes in this claim to take place in June and half a year, with 3 participants in the phase 1 and 1 participant in the phase 3, and with partial payment when the participants comply with the objective established in the work regimes. What are the immediate goals of the project? The line 5 about the cotton fiber have TRL higher than will be like a published content of the economic solution. And the standard will be to decay the economic demand that can be read administration, transport revolution, you can and present answer as soon as possible. And the finish, I would like to point out that this project is take off of the first number 10 very key with specialists of laboratories, procurement, PPA, project management, and very important institutional support. Thank you.
Okay, thanks to Pilar, because I think that she has already connected to her telephone. And now, Matt, I give you the floor. So please, can you continue?
Yes, thank you, María José. Thank you, María, Arturo, and Encarni, and virtual thanks to Pilar for your presentations. And it's the time now for the question and answers time. We have some questions, one question at the moment in the chat for Encarni. Encarni, please. The question is, how do you manage the short time of batteries of drones on exploitation and control activities? Encarni, please. Did you answer the question?
Thank you very much, Mark. Well, in this moment, we have carried out some study, the state of art of drone technology, and we realized that we need an innovative solution. We need a drone easily with high capabilities, improve the capabilities that the solution that they are in the market now. So I don't know exactly what it will be developed the solution. We expect the companies and the technological center in the market could develop and improve AUV for control and for inspection activities. Exactly, there is some problem with the autonomy. We need batteries, longer batteries for more autonomy, and also perhaps the mechanical configuration of the drone will be better than the one that there is in the market now. So I don't know the solution. We expect that the companies in the market and technological center offer us an innovative solution for this problem.
Okay, Encarni, thank you very much. And everyone, please open your microphone, and if you have a question, And in the chat, we have a new question for María. And can you share some recommendations or tips for other regions considering the experience of Andalusia with PPI? María, please, can you answer the question?
Okay. We think the involvement of all agents who need to be in this type of process has been a key factor. Agents such as technical responsible of projects, legal department, and contracting department. Also, the coordinate work of all these agents, as well as the administrative at the General Ministry, were key too. I think.
Okay, thank you very much, María. And if there is a new question on the chat or anyone that you can open your microphone. Okay, and if there are no more questions, we would like to take a photo with all the participants in this webinar, and if you don't mind, please open your cameras and we are going to take a photo, please.
Don't be shy and open your camera. Thanks.
Okay. Open your camera.
Okay, I think that we can do some photos. No? Okay, say cheese.
Cheese.
Okay, thank you. So, Mark, you can finish your presentation or the webinar.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. And well, if nobody has anything else to ask or to add, I think that we can finalize the session. I want to thank again María, Arturo, Encarni, Pilar, Noemí, María José, and all Raquel for the availability for this webinar and for their great presentations. And I would like to thank you all for coming here today, of course. And remember, you can contact the Traceability and Big Data Partnership through email and Twitter, and find more about us in our webpage, traceabilityandbigdata.eu, in our YouTube channel, or through our monthly newsletter. And it's all. I'm looking forward to sharing the next webinar, please. And thanks for coming, and have a nice day. Bye, and thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.